Well, good morning, everybody. Hey there, it's Big Dave here from the Mad Rock Morning Show. Excited to bring you the Sherman Bearcats season preview for football, brought to you by our friends at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance and Gene Darnell, their agency manager for Grayson County. Of course, we've got to get on the voice of the Bearcats here, Jay Lindly. Jay, it's been what, 6, 7, how many, 8 months? 8 months since we had a lot of discussions?
Well, since College Station in December.
Yeah.
It's weird because we're actually going to start this thing on time this year. Last year, we didn't get to do this until like September. So I've had to like jam all my beach dates into like a small 2-month window. So last year I was at the beach. I've got one more of those trips this weekend, and then it's full throttle coming back on Monday.
I don't know. You look at the wall back there. You still got the beach on your mind. You at least got the waves back there. I see. Yeah.
Oh wait, hey, that's part of my motif. I've got my Southeastern Great American Conference championship ring here in front of me, and I got the beach to my back. I'm good.
So let's talk about football. Big changes for the Sherman Bearcats this year, right? So I want you to have the honor of introducing the brand new head coach.
Oh, brand new and 30th head coach since the UIL got started back in the 20s. Of course, Cory Cain, defensive coordinator from Allen, Texas, or at least several years there, made numerous other stops. Welcome in, sir.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I was looking, I'm a geek. You're the 30th head coach in Bearcat history. You're the third of the last 4 for this to be your first head coaching job. How excited are you after years of watching other people's process? How excited are you to get your fingers on this team and put your own process in place?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm fired up to be here. Everybody here has been fantastic to me and my family. Got to bring a pretty large number of coaches with me, and those guys have ties to Allen and what we did there. And so it's exciting because I've got my wife and kids with me, but I've also got my coaching family with me. We're up here having a blast. The kids are fantastic. The parents have been fantastic. The community's excited. We got new facilities and a new school. It couldn't have been a better situation for me as a first-time head coach, and we got Coach Bob Jones as our athletic director, who's been there and done that, and he's helped me tremendously. So I'm fired up.
One of the things that immediately jumped out, and I know you haven't had a chance to meet Chad Rowland, who works with me on the broadcast as of yet, but Chad, Sherman alum, played at the University of Arkansas. Probably you're on the job maybe 2 weeks, and I get a phone call from Chad, and he goes, "Hey, I got all these alum calling me that this new guy's reaching out to all of us old guys." How important was that for you, stepping into a new role like that, to reach out to the alum that, of course, created Sherman football history? There's a lot of history there. One of the winningest programs in the state.
It was at the very top of my list. And when I interviewed for this job, that was a big part of it, that I had promised the administration that I wanted to connect the past with the present. I wanted our present Bearcats to know who came before them and what they did and how they got to do great things. And so I've been very fortunate that the alumni are open to being around and giving back to our current kids. And so just this morning, I was texting with Charlie Johnson. He got to go up and watch Peyton Manning be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he sent me some pictures, and I was going back and forth with him, and he's not the only one. I have visited with just tons and tons of alumni, and we've had guys come in here and speak to our kids, and I just want our current guys to connect with Bearcats from the past, especially ones who have gone on to do crazy cool stuff. And it's been very rewarding for me. I think our kids are really liking it, and I know the alumni are excited and pumped up to get back in here.
Now, a lot of people may not know this. Of course, immediately, you look at your last coaching stop, Alan, but you and I got to do lunch I guess now almost like a month and a half ago. You actually have ties all over Texas. Tell us a little bit about your humble beginnings in Munster, Texas, and how you're somewhat tied to the rural Oklahoma town of Boswell, Oklahoma, which came up out of nowhere in our lives.
Yeah, so I'm from Munster, Texas, right down the road, and so I actually have, my cousins went to school and graduated from Sherman High School, and so I know Sherman through them, and then I knew some Sherman people through them, and so I'm connected to Texoma, and then my sister-in-law married a guy that happened to go to school with Jay. And so when we went to lunch, he's talking about where he's from. I'm like, no way, you know this guy? And he's like, yeah, how do you know him? And so, heck, man, it's a small world. We're all kind of connected. And here we are with the Sherman Bearcats.
Now, one other question, and before we get into the upcoming season, your family got to meet your 8th grade son. How exciting of a proposition is that for you in the future to be able to coach your kid?
Oh, dude, awesome. There's nothing better. And all these kids here are mine, right? Like, they don't believe it. And I always tell them, like, guys, y'all don't understand how proud as a coach we get of our players, right? They are our kids. And so we're super proud of them. I get to brag about them all the time. How cool is that? You brag about your kids. So we brag about our football players, and they're just like our own. But then when your own blood comes through, it's a whole nother level. So I'm fired up. He's going to be at the junior high. I got another one coming that's in 6th grade. And so they'll both be at a middle school here in Sherman. And there's nothing better in life, man, than kids, and especially your own when they get to come through.
Well, now you get to put your fingerprints on a program, and you get to do it with a very nice state-of-the-art facility. Was just down there last week. Bob Jones had to take me through the whole thing, show off the new branding. I'd been in it, but I hadn't seen some of the other dressing up that you guys have done. What's it like to step into a program and get that facility to work with?
It's exciting. It is a large piece of the puzzle of winning high school football. Just to create the enthusiasm needed to go to work every day, because it is not easy being a Texas high school football player, especially if you want to get to the level where you're consistently winning championships. It's hard. It's not easy. And so when you have a fantastic facility, it creates the excitement that you need to get that process going. And so these facilities are fantastic. Coach Jones, Dr. Hicks, our superintendent, and the rest of the administration did a fantastic job. It was all done before I got here, and we're just getting finished, and all the branding went up last week, and it is really looking great. And so give us a month or two and they'll get all the punch lists knocked out, and we'll be 100% finished. But right now it's 99.9% done, and our kids are working out in it every day. And, it's got a brand new weight room and all big and new, and an 80-yard indoor practice area that is huge and nice. And I could not be more excited about the facilities that we have here.
What about as you make this transition, obviously J.D. Martinez moving on, and you take this head coaching job, what are some of the similarities from what you've seen, at least what the kids know, between you two, and what are some of the differences?
Are you talking about between Coach Martinez and I?
Yeah, just like the offensive, defensive philosophies and that aspect of it.
Yeah, so defensively, we'll stay in an odd front. We'll be an odd front defense. We'll be multiple, similar to what they were last year. The coverages, there are some similarities there. So it was not 100% brand new. Offensively, very similar. We're similar to what they did. Obviously, there's changes and wrinkles that we are going to bring in that our kids haven't seen before. But there were enough similarities that in the teaching progression has gone very quickly.
That was one thing I was going to ask, because this group lost 4 very talented skill players, very talented quarterback to graduation. As you come in and again put your fingerprints on it, I'm sure some of the terminology probably changes just a little bit. Is it a little bit of an advantage having a younger group to kind of soak all that in because they're kind of learning from you.
I'll tell you, as a coach, it's hard to call having a young group an advantage. you always want those guys that are experienced and mature and they can handle those situations. Every bit of the terminology is different. 100% of the terminology is different. So everybody's got that big learning curve. The youthful exuberance and enthusiasm is great because they are soaking it up like a sponge. The kids have been fantastic. They're willing to do anything to learn and whatever we ask. So no, it's been really good, and our kids are learning very fast.
One of the things you and I talked about the other day, just the aspect that you highly anticipate high effort no matter what. What is it that gives you that sense? Because you were just talking about how excited they are to learn and to get into it. Just kind of give us, I guess, a peek through the eyeglass, if you will, about the intensity of this fall camp and these guys really wanting to compete.
Yeah. So if you come and watch us practice, there's a reason my voice is not all there. Our coaches and kids have no choice but to have high energy and high tempo. That's just something we have to do, and I'm kind of hard about that. We got to go fast and we got to play hard, and so that part is there, and it's there. Our coaches are demanding it, and our kids are doing it, and they're learning how to go hard all the time. They're learning that practice is not easy, and we're going to make practices hard, and you've got to teach yourself. And I always tell them, like, your mind is very powerful. You've got to push yourself and teach yourself how to go hard all the time, and they're doing that. And so, yeah, it's intense and it's fast.
Of course, before we talk about the pink elephant in the room, the game the final Friday of August, very tough district slate, some heavy hitters in there, Highland Park, Longview. Your thoughts getting to go up against that? I know you've been, of course, at Allen, one of the top programs in 6A, and you move into a district with a team that won a 6A title just a few years back. Another one in John Tyler that was a 6A school, a perennial contender. And then, of course, Highland Park's Highland Park. Looking ahead at that district, what's the challenge you see there?
Every single solitary week is a challenge. Every team in the district is high quality. And so you hear it all the time, and you're going to say that's coach speak, but it's really true. We've got to focus on tomorrow. We got to be better tomorrow than we were today, and literally take it one day at a time, which, again, is going to take you one game at a time. We can't and won't look past any opponent because every single one of them are high quality. And so all that you mentioned plus the rest will get our full attention.
Of course, and you get your feet wet immediately. Battle of the Axe, week one. Again, another season where that's kind of an oddity. This is your first or will be your first experience with it. What do you know about the Battle of the Axe? I mean, is it as big as we make it out to be? I'm kind of curious, because being down at Allen, I kind of want to know how the rest of the world sees this.
I hear about the Battle of the Axe literally every day. Since I've gotten here, every day I hear about that game. And so teacher orientation yesterday, right? We all have to introduce ourselves in a setting, right? And so I introduce myself, keep it simple. And I hear them chirping into the back about Battle of the Axe and getting the axe back. So I hear it every day. It is real. It's 100% real. It is very intense, and it's very important to the people in our community. And so it's a big deal. It's a big game. So we have to maintain our focus that we got to be better tomorrow than we were today. And we got to keep building and putting good days on top of each other. And when we play that first game, as we prepare that week, if we'll do it, we'll be just fine. And we're excited about the opportunity to go play and play in the oldest rivalry in the state of Texas and the biggest rivalry in the state of Texas. And it will be a whole lot of fun.
Obviously, you yourself have been on the sidelines for some big games at Allen. I remember a few years back, Allen DeSoto was seemingly a big rivalry during that time. Having that sideline experience, do you feel that that helps you as a coach understand the calming of kids' nerves in a game like that?
Yeah, 100% helps. However, I've never experienced Battle of the Axe. All right. And so you and I can readdress this when that game's over, you know? And so I do know this. My philosophy, and it was as a defensive coordinator, to express to our kids is don't panic. Whatever we do, it's not going to be perfect. And when one of those times happens when it's not perfect, don't panic. All right. We got to have the mentality of don't panic, go win the next play, and stack winning plays on top of each other. And so, as a head coach, that's what I'm going to try to do to our assistant coaches and our kids. And if we can get everybody doing that and really don't panic, just play as hard as you can play, coach as hard as you can coach, I think we'll be just fine.
Of course, you're not going to get into players now because it's so early in camp. I know you and I will obviously talk again here real soon in preparation for the start of the season. But Coach Cain, appreciate your time, man, and good luck. Look forward to working with you all season long.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, and appreciate your support of the Sherman Bearcats.
Always. Great talking with you there. So appreciate that, Coach Cain. We'll let you go back to actual work now. Now, Jay, we've got a big season up, and we want to talk a little bit. First off, we want to thank our friends there at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Gene Darnell, the agency manager there, for sponsoring this preview of Sherman Bearcat football. And, of course, all the people out there in the Mad Rock Nation and across the area can listen to all of the games this season on Mad Rock 102.5. So many different ways you can. You can listen not only on your radio, you can listen on your smartphones, you can listen on the iHeart Radio app, you can listen on the Odyssey app, you can listen on TuneIn. I mean, so many different ways that they can hear you and the rest of the team doing all the play-by-play action. But let's talk sponsors for a second, because we've got a great lineup of sponsors that make these broadcasts possible. I mean, because I know you'd love to be able to go out there and do this for free, right? But we got to have sponsors to pay for this thing, right? So let's talk about that for a second. We've got some great sponsors up this year, which include Good Earth Soil and Materials, ER at Sherman, Whataburger, Knight Furniture, Schulman's, Movie Bowl Grill, Grayson College, Spirit Inc., Waldo Funeral Home, First State Bank, Patterson Optical, Tyson Foods, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, and even after we created this graphic, our friends at Douglas Distributing signed up to be a sponsor of Sherman Bearcat football too. So you've got a lot of sponsors to talk about during the game broadcast this time around. I know that's a good thing for you guys, right?
Well, see, and for you, that's a good thing because you're the ops guy. McMullen better give me some live reads. We need live reads, so we know
we got those too. Yeah, we've got those in there too. But I mean, let's talk about it a little bit. I mean, are you guys the broadcast team? Are you guys excited? I mean, all the changes, all the new faces, not only on the coaching staff but also in the player lineup. I mean, it's got to be. This is kind of an exciting time for you guys.
It is. I mean. And I kind of alluded to that in talking with Coach Cain and just the fact of you have a complete changeover in coaching now. I will tell you in talking with Coach Cain when we met a few weeks ago, a good chunk of the staff remained on. I mean, there's 7, 8 guys from last year's staff still a part of this thing. So it's not like it's completely new. But you will see a lot of new faces in regards to offense. You'll see a lot of new faces in regards to the linebacking core. Bonilla graduated, one of the top linebackers in school history. And then in addition to that, you had 4 receivers that finished up, or excuse me, 3 that finished up top 10 all-time in receptions with Amabu and, of course, Hunt, Husband, those guys graduating. There's going to be a void to fill. And I'm interested to see Elijah Chapman's a guy that had some spark last year. He's a young guy. Caleb Thompson's a guy that played some backup running back early in the season, moved to the defensive side of the ball. I'm kind of interested to see what side of the ball he ends up being predominantly on. But yeah, I think that basically, I mean, you're going to see a new face this year. And it's also the first go around of getting to work at that new big workout facility they have out there, which I'm telling you absolutely amazing. It's one of the there are small Division I colleges that don't have that. It's really top of the line. I've got to tour that thing like 2 or 3 times. So from that standpoint, I know I'm excited. Rob's excited to be at any football game, period. And then Chad being an alum, like I said, Chad reached out to me immediately and was like, I hear the new guys, reaching out to all these alum, and these are guys that Chad played with at the University of Arkansas that are also Bearcat alum that were reaching out and telling him. So I know that's something that kind of fans the flames of you, if you will, of the fan base, because you're reaching out to people that may not necessarily be in the area anymore, but you're making those connections that off of names that people that have been lifelong Bearcat fans know. And I think it creates a great support group for the coaching staff, for the kids, and honestly, I'm just interested to see how this thing goes this year. It's going to be a tough season. You start with the Axe. That game's always big. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. Personally, I wish we could do it, at least week 3, but it is what it is.
Do you think?
Then after that,
Do you think at some point the UIL may switch that? Because I know you and I talked about that when it first happened. It's like it was kind of bizarre. We were so used to that you get a little complacent. We were used to having the Battle of the Axe at the end of the season, and then all of a sudden it was moved to the complete beginning, and it's like, wow, okay, it's already here.
I don't see at the current moment, so long as they keep the divisional splits, I don't see a time that Sherman and Denison are in the same districts anytime. I don't think that'll happen in the next realignment, which is after this season. I do, however, could see a possibility of it being the final non-district game of the season. That's all dependent upon Denison. If Denison winds up in a smaller district with not as many teams like Sherman, then it's possible. Sherman gets to have several non-district games, whereas Denison does not. Denison right now, their current setup with their district, they're only getting a couple. And so, for Sherman, that Denison game's a non-district game, but so is the game with Mount Pleasant, so is the game with Saginaw, and so is the game with McKinney. So Sherman, where they currently sit, the district they're in, they've got a little bit more play on where they can schedule that game. And so if Denison moves into a smaller team district, like a 7-team district next year, then yes, I could perhaps see it going a little bit deeper before we get it. But as far as Sherman and Denison being in the same district, I just don't see that happening. It won't happen for sure this next alignment. And I don't really foresee it unless the UIL makes some major changes across the board. And there have been rumors of it. There have been rumors of getting rid of the divisional splits and doing some things like that. But again, those are just rumors.
Right. Well, I know a lot of people are excited to have the Sherman Bearcats, and the normal schedule, normal timing, normal games. Even our sponsors super excited to be a part of this. So, yeah, August 27th, Friday, first game, Battle of the Axe. You guys ready? You ready for it?
Oh yeah. I've been counting down. I've been counting it down.
Yeah.
I've got all my career records updated already. Did that at the end of last season. The only thing that's always tough, and I don't think fans necessarily realize, us as broadcasters, for the last 3 years, I've been able to know number 10's Benji Amabu. Well, now number 10 is going to be someone else. So, and while and this isn't no fault of the high school coaches or anything like this. This stuff takes time to kind of work itself out. So as of right now, there's no official roster. So that process, a lot of times those rosters aren't even finalized until about 6-7 days out of the first game. So then, I get the finalized roster 7 days out, and then I have to start basically memorizing name, number. So that's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge, but there will be a lot of new faces this year. But so yeah, if I accidentally, now I got to say this accidentally, I have done this before. I remember one year, and I can't remember who it was, but I said the wrong name. I said a name from like 3 years ago.
Right.
And Chad looks at me and goes, he ain't here anymore. And I go, oh yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Easy. I was about to say easy mistake.
Yeah, I'm like, Chad, you're going to call me out after some of the stuff you do on the microphone.
Awesome. Well, Jay, I appreciate you taking the time to do this live stream. I know you're a super busy guy, and also Coach Cain for coming on here. We appreciate you guys doing all this stuff for us. And, of course, more information about Jay, the rest of the broadcast crew up there, up on our website, too, madrock1025.com. You can check out the entire schedule for Sherman Bearcat football on Mad Rock. And as Jay alluded to about having David McMullen sell some more stuff to talk about during the game, here you go. You still have time. Again, the first game isn't until Friday, August 27th, so we still got a couple of weeks left. If you have a business or organization you want to step up, you want to support the Sherman Bearcat football broadcast on Mad Rock, you have time to do that. Just call David at 903-463-6800, and he'll be able to hook you up, right? That's
Correct.
What Jay wants. We'll make sure Jay's happy, right? All right, man.
Yes.
Appreciate that. We'll let you go about your business and appreciate you going on here. But again, thanks to our sponsor of this Sherman Bearcat football preview, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, and Gene Darnell, agency manager there. We appreciate you guys a whole lot. See you guys next time.